I'd like to call the August 15th Board of Commissioners meeting to order. And the first order of business is the invocation by our County Manager, Ms. Sharon Griffin.
Thank you, and good evening, Chairman Bright and Commissioners. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you and conduct the business of Onslow County. Lord, be with the commissioners in their deliberations and bless them with wisdom and guidance as they address the items on tonight's agenda. Bless our citizens, first responders, and those defending our nation. May all we do this day bring you honor and glory. Now, with deep respect and reverence for the faiths, beliefs, and traditions of those gathered here tonight, join me in a moment of silence. Amen.
Our pledge by Assistant County Manager, Ms. Sherry Slater. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome our elected officials tonight. Got House Member Phil Shepard from North Carolina House. Thank you, sir, for being here. Our elected Sheriff, Hans Miller. Thank you, Sheriff, for being here. Rick Grant from North Topsail Beach, Alderman. Thank you, sir, for being here, and your wife. Register of Deeds for Onslow County, Miss Amiga Jarman. And Colonel Thomas from the Onslow County Sheriff's Office. Thank you all for being here. We ask that all in attendance please set your cell phone to silent or vibrate mode. The board offers the public one opportunity to speak during the meeting. Comments should be limited to no more than 5 minutes and may be on any issue upon which the Board of Commissioners has control. In accordance with the board's adopted rules of procedure, commissioners shall reserve responses, if any, for the commissioner comment period on the agenda, which is at the end of the meeting. With no other items to be considered, I would entertain a motion to adopt the meeting agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would make a motion to amend the agenda to include a discussion of the agricultural extension move. There are a lot of people here concerned with that, and I think we need an opportunity to talk about it.
Not hearing a second, the motion dies without a second. Do I hear a motion to adopt the meeting agenda?
So moved.
I hear a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Does any item on the consent agenda that any commissioner would like to have removed for later discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're at item 3. Ms. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This evening for public comment period, we have 6 citizens who have signed up to speak.
Okay.
I would remind those who have signed up to speak and those in our audience that you have exactly 5 minutes in which to speak during public comment period. We do ask that you take your seat at the end of 5 minutes. Also, citizen speakers will be acknowledged this evening in the order in which they signed up. We ask that you address all comments to the board as a whole and not to one individual commissioner. Speakers are asked to go to the speaker's podium at the front of the room. Please restate your name and address when you approach. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience are not permitted. Speakers are expected to be civil in their language and presentation. And please keep in mind that the Board of Commissioners does not reply to public comment during the public comment period, but rather, if they choose, at the end of the meeting during commissioners' comments. And with that, I'll call the first citizen to the podium, Mr. Tim Huffman at 750 Huffman Town Road.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. My name is Tim Huffman, 750 Huffman Town Road, wonderful town of rich lands, more specifically Huffman Town. Okay, Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, tonight I'd like to let you know that there's some things that we in the Soil and Water Conservation Office are concerned about. I am a Onslow District Supervisor, have been for 11 and a half years. And in the 11 and a half years that I have served, we have been in 3 different locations. Yeah, so we've been pretty mobile, have been moved around quite a bit. And if you've ever moved at home or anything, you know how much effort it takes to move and how much it upsets everything. A few days ago, you should have received a letter from the supervisors of the Onslow County office. And I'd just like to briefly touch on that. And what we are concerned about is the potential relocation of our offices. First thing, and these comments are going to come basically from the letter that you did receive. I just want to elaborate on just a little bit. The major concern is the accessibility to our producers that we have. In Onslow County, we do have a fair number of farmers that come in to do business with the soil and water, and we also serve municipalities. Also, one of the main things is the confidentiality that we must honor at the utmost. We all know about confidentiality. And it's kind of hard for us to have that confidentiality at a public counter where staff is sitting around and perhaps the producer has come in to talk about a program and we are talking about financial issues that have to be strictly confidential. Secondly is our association with the Farm Service Agency, with the Cooperative Extension Office, with the NRCS, and our office, Soil and Water. That's 4 entities that we have all there together. And just so happens this morning I talked with a farmer from Richlands, and we're talking about the efficiency of the office. He said, I came in a few days ago. He says, I went to the FSA office. I stopped by the Soil and Water office to attend to a matter, and I stopped by Cooperative Extension to have a weed identified. He pulled a weed out of his pocket and showed it, you know. So now you're talking about efficiency. That's efficiency, when we can all be together and work together. Also, you know, the FSA serves Jones County and Onslow County. We have about 10 to 15 farmers that live in Jones County that farm in Onslow County also. So that means that they are eligible for any program that comes through Soil and Water also. So we're serving many more farmers other than what's in Onslow County. Also, you know, the way we are set up now, we're all close together. We're all pretty much in a group. And our offices feed off of each other because certain offices have certain information. It has to be retrieved. Also, the employees that we do have and the tasks to which they are charged to do, you know, we are in an ag environment. Their jobs are, so they have to go out to a lot of animal operations that, you know, they have to take sludge samples, lagoon samples, and whenever they come back to the office, you know, they need a place to go that they can get cleaned up. They need to wash their boats off and their boots and stuff like that. So, you know, having that place that we can store equipment, places to clean it up, and so I'd kind of like to sum it all up in one short paragraph here. In our concern, it is our concern that this relocation will result in a reduction of service quality to our producers, a reduction of the ability of employees to perform their jobs in the most effective manner, and reduce staff efficiency. That's what we want to avoid, is we like efficiency, and we've got it now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Huffman. Our next citizen speaker is Mr. Danny Shaw of 161 Petersburg Road.
Good evening. Danny Shaw, 161 Petersburg Road, Richlands. I was contacted just a few days ago. I didn't know anything about this, but a farmer came to me and said, "We need your help." I said, "What's going on?" He says, "Well, they're talking about splitting up the 4 ag services and each one going a different way." I said, "Well, I will be glad to go and at least participate in it." Now, you may not know my background, but for about majority of my professional career, I was an ag agent here and then the county director here in this county. For the entire time that I served here in this county, we have maintained an ag center that housed back then ASCS, which is now FSA, also soil conservation, and now NRCS and extension. And while that sounds like it's probably convenient, it's more than convenient. It provided a synergy of all the resources of those 4 agencies for all the farm population here in this county and for the rest of the county citizens. Now, for the last 10 years of my professional career, I had an opportunity to work outside of Onslow County. I, as a matter of fact, was a district supervisor or district director for about 30 or about a third of the state, 30-some counties. So I got to see firsthand. I took it for granted that we had all our agencies here together. But I got to see firsthand counties that don't have that, and believe you me, they do not work as efficiently as Timmy Huffman said. They don't work as effectively, and they don't get the resources to the farm and the farm community that you do when they're all housed together. I would say that my time here in Onslow County, I would speak to each one of you. I'm very proud of the work that we did together. We have professionals here on our staff with NRCS, FSA, Soil Conservation and Extension. Whatever the challenge was of that year, we dealt with hurricanes, we dealt with drought, we dealt with floods, we've dealt with pesticides, we've dealt with diseases, we've dealt with, and I won't name all the environmental disasters, but environmental disasters. We dealt with our financial problems that farmers have faced year in and year out. We've also dealt with increased bureaucracy and legislation requiring more permits for our farmers. Extension and FSA, ASCS, or FSA, NRCS, all help the farmers stay tuned up on all the permits that they need so they can stay in business. Each one of these agencies' goal is the same, regardless of where the funding's from. It don't matter if it's federal funding, state funding, or county funding. The goal is to get the best resources to our family farms. Please reconsider. If you've already, I've heard it's already a done deal. Maybe it's not. If it is, please, I respectfully ask that you reconsider that decision. Keep these organizations together. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Our next citizen speaker is Mr. Ward Sylvester of 377 Comfort Road.
Ward Sylvester, 377 Comfort Road, Richlands. Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I've lived in Richlands my entire life, and my family's been involved in farming the entire time. And just recently, within the last 2 weeks, farmers from Jones County and Onslow County have contacted me about trying to keep these agencies housed together. And please consider doing that, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Our next speaker is Mr. Burton Rudolph of 518 Plaza Boulevard.
Good evening. My name is Burton Rudolph, 518 Plaza Boulevard, Kinston, North Carolina. And basically, I'm here to support, I'm a licensed engineer, here to support the Sylvesters. If you do choose to have the facilities together, there's plenty of places that we would have on the property to combine these, and we have the capability to do that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rudolph. Our next speaker is Mr. Phil Shepard of 111 Vernon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Like so many of these people that have already spoken, I've got several phone calls this week asking me about this situation, which, of course, I didn't know that was going on. But I can remember when I was a kid, my grandfather was a farmer, and we made many trips downtown near the old hospital, and we went to the old hospital where the agricultural office was, the home extension office, and all those things were housed there. It was in a central location. At that time, most everything business-wise with the county was downtown. Of course, we don't have that now. But many of these people that call me ask me, would you please go and speak on our behalf, some farmers, some not farmers, that we think this should be left where it's all housed together. And I said, I'll be willing to do that. And sorry we hadn't had a chance to talk individually yet, because we do that sometimes when we're trying to work together on something. But I do think it's in the best interest if we could keep all the agricultural entities together, and as many others as possible that we could keep together. Might save us some money in buildings and so forth. And if there's any way I can help or find some extra funds, if there is any, in Raleigh, I'll be glad to help if we can facilitate that. But I would appreciate that on behalf of the citizens that call me. And so I'm here today just because I'm like you. I'm sure they call you when they got a problem or an issue. So if it's possible, I won't take much more of your time. I'd love to work with you, see if we could keep everything together. And I appreciate your time and all that you do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shepard. Our final speaker this evening is Ms. Diane Leblanc of 155 Raintree Circle.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Diane LeBlanc, and my address is 155 Raintree Circle. Tonight, I come to you to bring a huge thank you on behalf of the Down East Dirt Dogs. Excuse me. The thank you is because you chose to be visionaries, you chose to be forward thinkers, and you chose to build the Big Branch Bike Park that has affectionately come to be known as B3 with our team. We stood our team up 5 years ago, and so we recently completed 5 years as our team. When we stood it up in 2017, we had 4 coaches and 3 students. The only trail that we had to practice on was the Hendo Trail on board Camp Lejeune, and then the Commons Trail as well. Because of your efforts, because of your forward thinking, it has caused us to grow exponentially, and it has caused us to make a huge difference with our team. This year, we had 20 registered coaches, and we had 27 practice-ready students. And you are to be commended, you are to be affirmed for the decision that you made. I also want to let you know our season just ended in June, and we're 46 teams from across the state, from as far west as Asheville, beyond that, and as far east as the Outer Banks. Our high schoolers finished 4th in the state out of 45 teams. Our middle schoolers finished 12th out of 45 teams as well. I also want to share with you that one of the things that they started this year with the NICA League is we have hype sticks that are given out to the teams. I brought one with me tonight. I wasn't permitted to bring it in, but I would be happy to show it to you after the business is finished. I want to let you know that the hype stick is given to the team who shows the best sportsmanship, who not only affirms and cheers on their own team members, but members of the other teams as well. We only had 4 races this year. Please remember, 45 teams. Onslow County Composite Down East Dirt Dogs were awarded 2 hype sticks this year, and that is given by the league staff. So I wanted to let you know that. Lastly, I need to let you know that in 2021, we stood up a group that would be trained to move into the middle school and high school team, and the name of that group is the Down East Dirt Pups. And so I coach. The majority of them, our youngest member is 5 years old, but we have 8 students that are dirt pups that we're training to move up as Onslow County Composite Down East Dirt Dogs. So again, gentlemen, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of the hearts of the students and the coaches of the Onslow County Composite Down East Dirt Dogs.
Thank you, Ms. LeBlanc.
Thank you, Ms. LeBlanc. And Chairman and Commissioners, that concludes this evening's public comments.
Okay, we'll move on to item 4, resolution to approve retail, restaurant, and commercial purposes in Burton Park. I think our county attorney, Mr. DeSelms, will present that item.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As this board recalls, on April 18th, 2022, you approved the sale of a 4.32 acre tract within Burton Park. Pursuant to the incentive agreement also entered that day, they are required to construct 3 retail/restaurant buildings on the 4.32 acre tract. This is directly across from the medical office building where that will be located. The current restrictive covenants preclude retail, commercial, or recreational facilities unless approved by the county commissioners. A proposed resolution which indicates your approval of the retail, commercial, or recreational facilities on this 4.32 acre tract is being submitted for your consideration. Just so the board is aware, we're scheduled to close pending approval of this resolution on both the 4.32 acre tract as well as the medical office building tract on August the 30th. So it is respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners consider approving this resolution, which allows the retail, commercial, or recreational facilities on the subject 4.32 acre tract and allow the chairman to execute the resolution on behalf of the county.
Thank you. Motion from the board?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just real quick, this is a win-win for the county. Again, I want to thank Brett and Sharon for pursuing this. This is like basically a give me for the county. That's what it is. It's a give me. We're not spending any money, but we're going to generate tax revenue from this, and we're going to be putting a medical facility here in Burton Park, something which is desperately needed, the development of Burton Park, so this land does not go to waste and we continue to pay property taxes on it. And everything I've seen so far from Mr. Trask and his company has been right on the money, and I just want to say thank you. This is a big step for us, and hopefully we can get some more businesses in here, whether it be industry or anything else like that. It's a good start, so bravo to you guys.
Any further? We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries unanimously. Support of Fish Strong Foundation. I think, Brett, you're going to present that one?
Yes. Yeah, I was beckoned to do this. Fish Strong Foundation is a local nonprofit and holds community events to educate and provide aid to those who suffer life-altering illnesses in Onslow County. Fish Strong has requested tourism funding to provide advertising for upcoming events, fundraisers, including the Zombie Run, the Friday Night Pumpkin event, and the Christmas Hayride. I believe there is a representative from Fish Strong available to answer any questions you may have, but it's respectfully requested that the board consider approving $5,000 of tourism funds for the marketing of Fish Strong events.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Robert, and for being here to represent your company. Item C, Family Place Library. Our very, very new library director, Miss Jennifer Whaley. And we hate to put you on the hot seat right the first night of a meeting, but you've got a couple items, so have at it.
Right. Hit the ground running, right? Good evening, Chairman Bright, Vice Chair Foster, and board members. Thank you again for the opportunity to serve as your new library director here for Onslow County citizens. The first item is the Family Place Library I have to present to you tonight. The Onslow County Public Library has received notice that a grant in the amount of $18,093 is granted from the Institute of Museum and Library Services through the state of North Carolina to fund the Family Place Library Program for Onslow County Public Library. This is a great initiative that brings together the community and the library, meets the needs of families by increasing the capacity of libraries throughout the nation to recognize and realize their full potential as community hubs for healthy child and family development, parent and community involvement, and lifelong learning. The Onslow County Family Library will serve as a foundation for future library programming designed to connect families with community resources, experiences, and support. The specific action requested this evening is the Board of Commissioners consider accepting the State of North Carolina grant awarded through the Institute of Museum and Library Services under the provision of the Library Services and Technology Act, Grant LS-252476-OLS-22 for the Family Place Library for the Onslow County Public Library, and if approved, authorize the county manager to sign the grant documentation on behalf of the county. I'm open to any questions if you may have any.
Motion to approve. Second. A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And
Thank
we're
you.
going to ask you to do the next one also.
Okay, I'll move right along. This is the Rec and Read Mobile Trailer Grant. In June, Onslow County Public Library was notified that it had been awarded a special grant in the amount of $29,521 through the State Library of North Carolina. It's provided by the Institute of Museum of Library Services as well, under the provision of the Library Services and Technical Act. Onslow County Rec and Read is a project developed by the Onslow County Public Library and the Parks and Rec Department. It's exciting to have these two entities coming together to promote reading, literacy, and physical fitness together and throughout the community. In addition, Rec and Read will travel to other county agencies and organizations, building partnerships and providing connections to literacy and physical activity. The specific action requested this evening is that the Board of Commissioners consider accepting the State Library of North Carolina grant awarded through the Institute of Museum of Library Services under the provision of the Library Services and Technology Act. This is grant number LS-252476-OLS-22. And if approved, authorize the county manager to sign the grant documentation on behalf of the county. I'm open to any questions if you may have any.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you, and
Thank you so much.
welcome
Thank
aboard.
you for your support.
Airport Transaction Service Network Incorporated contract. Mr. Chris White, our airport director, will present that one. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. The Parking Access Revenue Control System, or PARC system, replacement project at the Albert J. Ellis Airport is progressing. The new system will provide expanded access, more payment options, faster processing, and touch-free options. The new Designa product utilizes this PCI-compliant payment gateway for the airport, known as Transaction Network Services. The TNS devices will automatically capture and process credit card information, working in concert with Bank of America, the county's merchant services, for payment processing. The contract is based on a per-fee transaction basis. It is anticipated that annual cost for the TNS's services will be approximately $10,000 to $15,000, depending on the volume of services. The specific action requested is we respectfully request that the Board of Commissioners consider a 3-year contract with TNS, and if approved, authorize the county manager to sign on behalf of the county.
Motion to approve.
Your second? Motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions for Mr. White? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. I'd like to thank you for our travels, everything. Everybody at the airport was absolutely courteous and polite. They didn't know me from Adam, but doing a good job out there.
We pride ourselves in that. Thank you.
The next item is Albert Ellis Airport Transportation Network Company agreement. Mitch Spunger, I get it right?
Sprunger, close.
Okay, sorry.
That's fine. The following item is an operating agreement with Lyft Incorporated, a transportation network company Their brand offers smartphone application-based services and is well-known in the ground transportation industry. Lyft meets the standards for TNC operations listed in the North Carolina General Statutes. Under the statute, airports are permitted to regulate certain TNC activities to ensure order, appropriate passenger service, and to collect a reasonable fee to offset expenses. This agreement creates a set of operating standards and protocols for TNC operations, which include waiting, loading, and unloading zones for the drivers and users, and establishes an application-based geofence around OAJ to implement pickup fees. This agreement aims to apply similar rules to all ground transportation providers, which work to ensure safe, predictable, and reliable ground transport to and from the airport. Further, it will create an additional revenue source to support the operation, maintenance, and development of the airport. This initial agreement is for 5 years and will automatically renew for 1 year periods unless a party sends a notice of termination. We respectfully request that the Board of Commissioners consider the 5-year agreement and, if approved, authorize the chairman to execute the Lyft agreement on behalf of the county.
Motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. I think the next one's yours too.
Yeah, similar item. Item presented for your consideration is the operating agreement with Uber Technologies Incorporated, a transportation network company. Similar to the previous item, Uber meets all the North Carolina General Statute requirements for TNCs. The operational requirements are the same as the previous agreement, as well as the fee structure, loading and unloading zones, and the geofence. The agreement will provide a consistent and improved service for the users and provide an additional revenue source for the airports. We respectfully request that the Board of Commissioners consider the 5-year agreement and, if approved, authorize the chairman to execute the Uber agreement on behalf of the county.
Motion?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item H, inmate food service detention facility. Ms. Lisa Marlin will introduce that one, our interim finance director.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. The detention facility's current food service provider exercised their option to cancel the contract and provided Onslow County with a 30-day notice on July 22nd, 2022, with a termination date of August 19th, 2022. An informal bid process was conducted and responses were evaluated with the following factors considered: cost per meal, experience in detention facilities of comparable size, financial strength of the company, operational plan, quality assurance program, and proposed menu plan. After careful consideration, it is recommended that the county contract with Trinity Services Group Incorporated to provide the inmate food service. The initial term of the contract will be for 1 year, beginning on August 20th, 2022, with the option to renew 4 additional 1-year terms. It is respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners approve the contract with Trinity Services Group in the amount of $811,374, and authorize the chairman to sign the contract on behalf of the county. And I'll be happy to take any questions.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Budget amendments, I think that's yours also.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's my pleasure to present to you 6 budget amendments for your approval this evening. Item B8 is for new funding for the LINKS program. Item B9 is for APS Essential Services one-time federal funding that was accepted and received in June of 2022. Item B10 decreases the line items for Title 3D grant to align with the FY23 allocation. Items B11 and B12 are increases to the library line items for the grants that were accepted earlier this evening. Item B13 is an increase to the Sheriff's Office for the School Resource Officer contract that was approved by the board on August 1st of 2022. It is respectfully requested that the Board of Commissioners approve these budget amendments, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on budget amendments. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Item 5, I think that's yours, Ms. Griffin.
It is. Thank you, Chairman Bright and Commissioners. We do have one appointment this evening for the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee. The Civic Affairs Committee is composed of 23 members, and this Board of Commissioners appoints 16 of those members. The City of Jacksonville makes the 7 remaining appointments. Ms. Lisa Whitman-Grice has expressed an interest in appointment and has provided a citizen participation application, which is on file and has been certified by the clerk's office. I respectfully request that the Board of Commissioners consider the appointment of Ms. Whitman-Grice as our county liaison for the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries unanimously. We are at consent agenda items. There was nothing moved from the front. So we now at the manager's comment, and I will turn that over to Ms. Griffin.
Thank you so much, Chairman Bright and Commissioners, and thank you to everyone who spoke this evening. It is a bit disheartening that there's some misinformation that is out there, and I wanted to provide some factual information about the proposed move of the 3 agricultural agencies that we do value tremendously in the service they provide to our farmers and other citizens in agriculture. Initially, all of this started when we received complaints from Peggy Garner about the condition of the current offices. And it was brought up, it's been brought up in a couple of different situations, but as part of our budget process, for one, that the humidity and moisture issues and HVAC issues in the building over at the multipurpose complex were unacceptable. We started to look for solutions. We do want everybody to have a clean and safe environment, and that is very important to us. As part of that, actually our first meeting with Assistant County Manager Sherry Slater met with both the USDA staff and Cooperative Extension back on September 16th of 2021 to start talking about what the options might be. We developed at a staff level 4 options that we felt could be followed through with, and these were discussed at length with the Board of Commissioners, as you probably recall, in a public workshop on September 29th, 2021, and an option was favored, and we were given direction. We've been speaking with USDA, Soil and Water, and Cooperative Extension since that time, and have spent an incredible amount of time trying to make sure that we were being very respectful of the interests of each of those agencies. We actually, December 13th, had another publicly noticed public workshop where the Board of Commissioners approved moving all of the personnel and using the windfall of ARPA funds to assist us in building, in addition to this building, for our senior services. We were at that time able to confirm that we felt like if we worked hard enough, we'd be able to move folks around in order to welcome Cooperative Extension and Soil and Water into this building that we're in right now. At that point, and for the next several months, we did hear a few concerns here and there, and we worked very hard to make sure that we addressed them. Some were concerned that there was no plant lab that would be available, and so we have secured an individual mobile classroom that Peggy Garner has indicated could be located behind the farmer's market and would work well, and we've used staff time and county resources to make that happen, and that is in place now. There were concerns about having these agencies move during the summer growing season, and we understand that that is a very busy time of year, so we postponed it as much as we could, which is hard. We had to weigh our concerns for the air quality concerns that have been brought up for those employees and their comfort when they come to work, with their desire not to have to move in the middle of summer growing season, but we've waited. We did hear that all three of the agencies need to be together, and I appreciate those of you that have come tonight and stated that, and we totally understand that that is the ideal situation. From the beginning, we brought USDA into the equation and had them walk around over here with us, and we thought that they were very excited about that possibility. That's the last I'd heard from the local staff. We actually moved our county attorney out of his office, an assistant county manager out of their office, a supervisor in environmental health out of their office, our communications department out of their offices, and all of our asset and facilities maintenance staff, including our housekeeping staff, out of their office so that we could make room for all three agencies to be here together so that we could best serve our farming and agricultural community. We were very pleased and felt like, and were excited that we were able to make that happen. We made sure that the commercial kitchen would be available. Someone mentioned earlier needing to clean up. We have a shower available here that would be private in the building. And for confidentiality, just to clarify, there are individual offices where cooperative extension would be. There are two, and there's a separate room that could house other workstations. There's a private conference room. There's also an individual office that we'd moved one of our employees out of that would be available for our soil and water director, that he would actually have a closed-door office. The USDA, we had offered a wonderful office space upstairs, and just to clarify on the sizes here, because that has come up in the last couple of days, USDA currently has 8 employees in 1,647 square feet at the multipurpose complex. Most of those employees are in an open area together with desks. We offered a square footage of 1,863, so a bigger space, and use of our conference rooms, our employee break room, and of course, the benefit of having security here at the office. We have heard from the USDA in the last 4 weeks, despite 6 or 7 months of conference calls with them, sending them the layout for the office, giving them pictures of the office, talking to multiple parties at the state and federal level. The USDA federal folks told me 4 weeks ago that 1,863 square foot office space that we thought was very nice is not sufficient, and that they don't want it. So we can't make the federal government accept the space, but we have tried to keep all three of the agencies together. As far as cooperative extension goes, their current office with the plant lab and clinic over at the multipurpose complex is 2,492 square feet. The office space we're offering, plus the mobile classroom that can be the plant lab and clinic, are a combined 3,077 square feet. So we're offering more square footage than has been available. We would hope that these groups would take a look at what is actually being offered and reconsider some of these objections that we actually have worked very diligently to address in a way that we felt was beneficial for everyone. So anyways, other than that, I don't have any other comments this evening, unless you have questions, that I'd be happy, of course, to address those. Thank you.
Our main goal, though, was to keep all three agencies together, wasn't that that was our goal, and
That was our goal, and that's where we thought we were headed, and everyone seemed to be on board. And it's just in the last 4 weeks that the federal folks at the USDA have told me that they're not gonna do it. We've already moved.
what is the
employees
county's,
around.
what is the county's liability for not acting on an environment like that?
It makes me very uncomfortable to have employees in an environment where they've complained about air quality, and it's not something we can do for the long term. They asked us to delay, so we delayed, but we have got to start finding a solution for this, and the current condition, particularly of the cooperative extension part of the multipurpose complex, is not something that can continue.
Okay. Thank you. We move on now to the commissioner comments. I will start with Mark Price.
I'd like to congratulate all those first responders who received recognition, deserved recognition in the Public Safety Awards. I think it was last week. Time's running together here. So, but congratulations to all those folks. We appreciate what you do for Onslow County. Last week we did go to the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Convention, and they had their business session on Saturday. Just to let everyone know, Tracy Johnson is the new president of NCACC. President-elect is Johnny Carswell of Burke County. First vice president is T. Davis of Warren County, so they just moved up. And they held an election for second vice president. That person who was elected is Commissioner Wallace Nelson of Perquimans County. So he will be our second vice president for NCACC. The association did make a point of emphasizing that the deadline for legislative goals is September the 12th. After attending the fire workshop that they had there, they presented some information that was that concerned me about the requirements on volunteers to take all of these training modules at the same time, in order to commit to taking every aspect of fire service in one lump thing, the hoses, the pumps, the ladders, whatever. It all has to be lumped together. Whereas in the past, this had been separate, where volunteers could devote a smaller amount of time and get their certification over time. And so that would make it a whole lot easier on our folks to get certified, to participate and volunteer to serve in our volunteer fire department. So I hope that would be one of our legislative goals. I'm sure most commissioners sitting here would agree with that. So I hope we can get that done. Thank everyone for coming tonight and speaking. Appreciate your interest and concern about the farmers, as we all should be. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Buchanan?
Good evening. I don't have a whole lot to say, but one of the meetings we went to was that they were talking about a public defender. And some of the counties throughout North Carolina have public defenders. And what I learned from that session was it was real interesting that the public defender's office, if you have one, it helps get people out of the facility. It gets them out a lot quicker. And the reason I'll talk about that is that if you have an attorney that is appointed as an indigent for an individual that's been incarcerated, sometimes that attorney don't get to see that individual maybe once, but these public defenders work very hard on getting these people out of the facility. And I can tell you right now, we need some people out of our facility, because I think, and the sheriff's in here someplace, I think we're at 300 and some odd people in the inmates in our facility, so we need to be working on that. I want to thank everybody for being here. We've taken a lot of stuff under consideration with this stuff that we've been going on. It's for the last 11 months. This board, all 7 of us, unanimously working behind our manager and what she's trying to do for all of us. And we're talking about the USDA and agriculture, everybody. We're trying to do the best we can, but it seems like that we have some powers to be with in-house, powers to be outside of the House that are trying to cause a lot of problems when we're trying to solve the problem. And we can only come together as a group if we talk and communicate. But the problem with it is there's some communication that's not going on. And when you have individuals, outside powers, trying to push it around, and then you have inside powers bullying the manager, outright bullying our manager that she needs to do this, she needs to do that. We hired this manager. This manager works very hard for this community. And what has to happen is we have to communicate, and that's going on, but we have some people that are not working with us. They're working against us. But we're doing everything we can to help. All of us are. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move now to Commissioner Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, this board approved this move, like the manager said last year, and I think the manager and the staff have worked very hard to make this thing work and to make everybody happy. Since that time, a lot of objections have come up. I thought it was a great idea at that time that we were going to make everybody happy moving them into a new facility. But since that time, a lot of objections have come up. USDA has thrown us a curveball, and there's a lot of things that have changed. And I, too, agree with Commissioner Buchanan that there's a communication gap somewhere, and we need to have some communication with you guys. I appreciate you all coming and try to find the right solutions that's going to work for everybody. I would love to see everybody stay together and all those farm services stay together in Onslow County. But we'll see if we can make that happen. And I wanted to thank Ms. LeBlanc for coming and talking about the bike park. Thank you. Hope y'all have a...
I'd like to add, Diane, I'm sorry, I forgot you. You were instrumental in that park. You came to me when I was in my office over there at the college, and you asked me, could we find some land? And you were the one that instrumentally came to us with that information. We need to thank you. Sorry.
It's all right. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Bennett. Let's see, we'll move to Mr. Scott now.
Okay. First off, really appreciate you taking the torch and running, and congratulations on y'all's award. We've heard everybody tonight about the extension service. It's vital that we all understand it. We're working hard to keep y'all together. We're asking to be patient. Let's let the system work. Let's get it up and running and see what we can do to work together. We got to be at the table whenever we disagree. It's disheartening. It truly is to see so many people working so hard to tear something apart when we're trying to do something good for our community. And I really appreciate the staff's help. I thank y'all for everything you're doing, and God bless you, and have a good night.
Thank you. Commissioner Knapp.
Excuse me. First of all, thank you for showing up and expressing your concern. That means a lot to us. And Diane, thank you for your comments. We don't really hear a lot of positive things about us commissioners sitting up here. So when you get up here publicly and do that on G10, I applaud you for that. And I know it was heartfelt, and I thank you for that. To echo what Chairman Buchanan was talking about, you know, some of you all may say, I keep saying this over and over again, but I'm going to keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. Our county manager and our county staff do an outstanding job. They try to compromise and do what's best for the county and what's best for the county folks. Believe me on that one. Sharon is at the conference in Asheville or wherever it was, Charlotte this week, with some of the other commissioners. The chairman and I stayed back because of various reasons, and I'm still getting phone calls from her from Charlotte on county business, things that she was concerned about. For example, the fire on Holly Shelter Land Reserve. She was updating us from Charlotte, and we're here. And that shows the dedication that she has. You know, when we give Sharon a task and we give our attorney a task, or our county manager, or assistant county manager, Sherry Slater, and Ben Warren, they come back to us. They don't drop the ball. They do not call us. We ask a question, they answer to the best of their ability and as fair as they possibly can. And when I hear that people are trying to call the county manager and bully her, okay, by whatever pretense, that's got to stop. Okay, that really has, I don't care who you are, that's got to stop. She's got a job to do, okay, and she's doing a fantastic job. If we didn't think she's doing a fantastic job, she would have been gone. And the reason why I'm strongly defending her is because I don't know if maybe some people have a problem with a woman in a position of authority. That's what I don't understand. whether she's a woman or not. I just wonder if some people have a problem with that, okay? She got selected to do the job because she's the most qualified, and she has not disappointed since day one as she took over as county manager. She didn't disappoint when she was assistant county manager, okay? So, you know, for those that are trying to be pushy or try to push certain things, let her do her job, because I think she's doing an outstanding job, and along with our rest of our county employees. And I take to heart when people come after the county employees, because they're some of the hardest working employees this side of the country. They work hard, and they put in the hours, and they sacrifice a lot. And if you weren't around during Hurricane Florence, you would see the dedication these county employees put into their jobs. You know, leaving their homes and staying in the EOC when the weather was horrible out there, forsaking their own personal issues and putting the county's issues at their priority. So I get a little miffed when I hear that, and I thank you for bringing it up, Commissioner Buchanan, because you know what, Sharon, you did a great job. All of you guys do a great job. You keep plugging, you keep stepping, you keep doing what you're doing, and I appreciate your honesty. And if you want to hear honesty from somebody, it's the county manager. She'll tell you in a heartbeat when we call her, yay or nay if she likes a program, and she'll give us the best possible advice. And she always ends it, I'll do what the board asks me to do, but I need to tell you what I think and what some of the pitfalls are to make sure you're aware of it. And for that, I'm appreciative, and thank you very much, Sharon. Other than that, the only thing else I got to say, it's August 15th, 2 more weeks, college football starts. That's all I got to say. And my alma mater plays on August 27th, and I'll be glued to the TV. So thank you for coming. I appreciate you all attending, and have a good night.
Thank you, Vice Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Diane, thank you for coming out tonight and showing and getting emotional about the B3. So that's fantastic. That just shows you where your passion is for what you're doing and acknowledging that. I want to thank all of y'all coming out tonight. You know, I'm born and raised right here in Onslow County like all of y'all, and you know, you've been turning the dirt and plowing and planting and harvesting a long time. So the fact that you come out and share these concerns is something that doesn't go past anyone. And I'm not sure what path we can take to look at this and get everybody on the same page, but I think communication may be something that can come down to it, that we may take an opportunity to get 2 or 3 of you in here, and let's let you walk through where each of these places will be in here, and maybe that is something that we can discuss and look at. And I don't know if that's something, you know, I could meet a couple of them and say this is where it's at and where it's going, and look at you guys already know what's over at the extension, and see how this is set up. And this very well could be a great move. And I know change is a difficult thing, because I think y'all have been over there for quite some time and accustomed to all that. But get a hold of you and maybe look at some of that and talk about some of that, and see if we can alleviate some of those concerns, because I understand where you're coming from, and we appreciate you coming out here tonight, because that's what this is for. This is for you to come and share those concerns, and then our job is to turn around to speak to you and see if we can alleviate some of those concerns, because the folks have worked real hard hoping that they were doing something good, and 11 months of that work. And I think when we all look at it together and look at the concerns and how they're being addressed, we may all walk away from it and be a lot happier, because that's the goal of what we want to do here with all the citizens. In particular, you know, Onslow County's been a farming community a long time. They get confused sometimes what Onslow County is, but it's been a part of that a long time. So we appreciate y'all coming out tonight, and I appreciate what Ms. Griffin does to prepare everything, and the information she shared tonight. I hope that's beneficial and everybody can walk away with that. And congratulations, Jennifer, not only on your retirement, but your retirement turned back into a full-time job as the director here for the library in Onslow County. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. I'd like to thank Tim Huffman for being here tonight and speaking. I'd like to thank Danny Shaw for being here and speaking tonight. I know most of you guys. Ward Sylvester from Richlands, iconic name up there. Mr. Rudolph, of course, Phil Shepherd's already left, and of course, Diane was here speaking about something else, but thank you for being here also. The USDA does not seem like they want to move. They keep asking their manager to stay where they're at, and that's not going to be possible because of the environment that's over there. That's why we're asking the USDA to be here with the rest of the organization. If they want to be here, we got a space that's bigger than the space they're in for them that's available. I don't know what the reasoning for that is, and that's something that they'll have to work, but that's something they're renting from us here, their organization. So hopefully they can rent that space and all three agencies can be together like you're supposed to be. I think all of you are supposed to be together, and there was never any intent for us to separate any of the agencies. I think we were supposed to be, the proposal was to put it together. But even if we decided that we could fix that building over there, which we can't right now, we didn't have the money, it costs more to fix it than it's worth. Even if we could fix that building, we'd have to have everybody move out because you just can't tear out sheetrock and have mold and mildew and moisture when it's occupied. You just can't have people in that environment. So they'd have to move out anyway. Everybody's going to have to eventually move out over there. So with that being said, I really, I don't know how many of the other guys up here have been farmers, but I was born and raised on a farm. That's where I come from, on a farm. I didn't even get a chance to play sports in school because when I got out of school, I had to come home and hit the field. That was what I did. And I learned real quick that if you walk barefoot in the chicken lot, that stuff between your toes is not chewing gum. So anyway, I'm born and raised on a farm. I know about farming. I know what kind of hardships it is. The weather dictates everything. So please bear with us if you folks, and if you can talk to USDA, tell them we want them here. We're not trying to run nobody off. We want them here, and we're giving them a bigger space than they had. But other than that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.